Hello there, and a very warm welcome. ProTax Accountant has put this whole session together to really get under the hood of what is, without a doubt, one of the biggest shakeups to the UK tax system in our lifetime, making tax digital. So, over the next few minutes, we're going to break down what this actually means for you, who it affects, and, most importantly, how you can get ready for that 2026 deadline that's creeping up faster than you think. Oh, that feeling. If you're a sole trader, a freelancer, or a landlord, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That frantic hunt for receipts, the late nights staring at spreadsheets, that whole January scramble. Well, what if I told you that whole stressful ritual is about to become a thing of the past? Because HMRC is changing the game.
In this slide, this really nails the difference. We're moving from that one big, mad dash at the end of the year to a much more steady pace. Instead of a yearly sprint, think of it as a consistent digital heartbeat for your business finances, keeping everything in check all year round.
Okay, so let's dive right in. What on earth is this thing? The official name is Making Tax Digital for Income Tax Self-Assessment, which is a bit of a mouthful, so we'll just call it MTD for ITSA. But what does it actually mean for you and your day-to-day business? You know, in simple terms, it's about saying goodbye to that shoebox full of crumpled receipts and that massive annual tax form. It's all about swapping it for a sleek, digital process. The whole system is basically getting a massive upgrade to bring it into the 21st century, making tax admin a continuous and hopefully much simpler part of running your business.
So you might be asking why? Why are they doing all this? Well, this number right here is the answer. £5 billion. That's what HMRC estimates is lost every year because of simple, honest mistakes on tax returns. The whole point of MTD is to slash that number by making our tax reporting more accurate and much closer to real time.
All right, so this is the big one. Who does this actually apply to, and when do you need to start worrying about it? It's really important to know this isn't happening to everyone all at once. So let's get crystal clear on who's affected and when these new rules kick in. As you can see, it's a staggered rollout. The very first wave starts on April 6th, 2026, and that's for anyone, sole traders or landlords, with a qualifying income of over £50,000 a year. A year after that, it drops to £30,000, and the plan is to eventually bring it down to £20,000 a year after that. Now, this phrase, qualifying income, is something you absolutely have to get right. It is not your profit. I'll say that again, it's not your profit. It's your total gross income, your turnover, before you take off a single penny for expenses or allowances. This is so important because this is the number that decides if you're in or out. Let's make this super clear with a quick example. So meet Priya. She's a freelance yoga instructor in London, and she also rents out a small flat. So she's got two separate streams of income coming in. We add her yoga income, that's £35,000, to her rental income, another £20,000, and that gives her a total qualifying income of £55,000. Because that's over the £50,000 threshold, Priya has to join MTD and start following the new digital rules from April 6, 2026. Simple as that. Now, hold on, it's not for absolutely everyone. There are some specific exemptions. Things like trusts and estates are out. But the one to really pay attention to is this digitally excluded category. If you generally can't use digital tools, maybe due to age, a disability, or you live somewhere with no reliable internet, you can apply to HMRC to be exempt. But you do have to apply and make your case. Okay, so if you've listened to all that and you're thinking, yep, that's me, what do you actually need to do? Well, don't panic. It's not as scary as it sounds. We can break it down into a really simple 3-step action plan to get you ready. Here they are. These are the 3 pillars of getting ready for MTD. First, you've got to pick some MTD-compliant software. Second, you have to get in the habit of keeping all your records digitally. And third, you need to get comfortable with this new rhythm of reporting every quarter. So let's start with the tools. Choosing the right software is your first big decision. And honestly, there are some fantastic options out there that HMRC has already approved, like QuickBooks, Xero, and FreeAgent. The trick is finding the one that just feels right for your business and your budget. Some, like FreeAgent, are particularly good if you're a sole trader or a landlord. And here's a little pro tip for you, and this is a real game changer. Most of the software can link directly to your business bank account.
It literally sucks in all your transactions automatically. This one feature can save you hours and hours of boring admin, and it helps get rid of those silly little mistakes. It's honestly amazing.
Right. You'll need to get this new calendar in your head. These are your new quarterly deadlines. And this is really, really important. This is just for reporting your numbers. It's an update to HMRC. This is not when you have to pay your tax bill. Think of it as a check-in, not a bill. So after you've done your 4 quarterly updates, the whole year comes together with these 2 final steps. You've got an end-of-period statement to finalize your business figures, and then a final declaration to pull everything together. This whole process is what replaces that old, familiar self-assessment tax return you used to do. So let's talk about the carrot and the stick, because there are some real perks to getting on board with this early, but there are also some definite penalties if you ignore it. So why should you act now, and what might happen if you just bury your head in the sand? Okay, the penalties. Here's how it's going to work. HMRC is bringing in a new points-based system. Basically, you get a point for every deadline you miss. Once you hit a certain number of points, you get a £200 fine. And if you keep missing deadlines, those fines are just going to keep coming. But look, it is not all doom and gloom. Far from it. When they rolled this out for VAT, the feedback was actually really positive. The vast majority of businesses that made the switch said they saw real benefits. Look at that. Almost 70% said they made fewer errors. That's huge. So, how do you make sure you're on the right side of this change? How do you turn what feels like a bit of a hassle into a real opportunity to get smarter and more efficient with your business finances? And I think Adel Akhtar, the CEO of ProTax Accountant, just hits the nail on the head here. Being proactive with MTD is about so much more than just ticking a compliance box. It really is about streamlining your business, taking control, and ultimately making your own life easier. Now, if you're feeling even a little bit overwhelmed by all this, whether it's choosing software or just figuring out what you need to do, please don't feel like you have to go it alone. The team at ProTax Account is ready and waiting to guide you through it all. You can reach them on WhatsApp or give them a call on 07985 689912, or you can drop an email to info@protaxaccountant.co.uk. And for more updates like this, make sure you subscribe to their YouTube channel. Look, this change is definitely coming, but it absolutely does not have to be a source of stress. If you start preparing now, you're not just getting compliant, you're actually taking a massive step towards building a more efficient, more modern business for the future. So the only real question left is, are you ready?